Today's video is all about NetMind, the decentralized machine learning and AI platform. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into some of the fundamentals such as the team, the tokenomics, utility, and the overall value proposition, trying to figure out whether this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. And the question is NetMind an opportunity? Guys, we're going to be doing a deep dive today, looking into this project. And as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at some of the details. We want to really know, does this project have what it takes to make it to our portfolio? We're going to be looking into a lot of the different aspects of projects that could make us bullish fundamentally, and ultimately what we are going to be using is the website and any documentation that the team has provided for us to get fundamentally bullish. I am obviously taking a retail perspective here because at the end of the day, the information that is provided to the general public has to take that retail perspective, and the given reason is because if we want mass adoption, we need to get the retail investor interested in all these new various projects that are coming out in the crypto space in the last little while. So we're definitely holding them accountable. Again, we're going to be using the website and the documentation, any white papers or anything like that that the team has provided. And of course, we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? We're going to talk about everything. We're going to look into all the details. Whatever we find, we'll definitely discuss. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's keep on going down here. Let's see what's going on, because really, it could be a scenario where, we definitely see a great website, a scenario where we see a great website and they're offering all the information we need, right? And that's one of the major criticisms that I go for, because as a retail investor, when we do come in and we start doing research, usually we start off, some sort of aggregator like, CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, and then we start looking at the socials and the websites and all of that. But the website should give us everything. Now, training, fine-tuning, inference, decentralized machine learning and AI platform, join beta, contribute your GPUs, a bit of a hint of what it's all about. Okay, you can contribute your GPUs, and we'll talk about that as we keep on going on. Training models, the learning models, right? Basically, language learning models. You can train models and rent GPUs. It sounds like a one-stop shop for AI. Okay, so looking pretty good, because you know how critical I am about AI projects that are pure vaporware. Just putting a token on top of a Web 2 solution and then calling it a day as far as Web 3 or crypto. At the end of the day, we need a lot more. So this is good. We see, renting of GPUs, which is deepen. It does allude that we're talking about a deepen project as well. Earn rewards, contribute your GPUs to the network, and earn, basically rewards. And this is basically the introduction to what a deepen infrastructure is all about. Okay, so this is what I'm really interested in. You know what? This arrow here, I'm going to open it up. Can I open it up in a new tab? It seems like I can't. But all good. You know what? We'll just keep on scrolling down. I don't want to leave this here right now. We've created a machine learning platform powered by a global GPU network. Get access to the platform with free credits. Okay, join the beta. So it's still in beta phase, but you can still get involved. I'm sure there's some sort of reward structure of getting involved early. Rent a virtual machine. So the opposite scenario, instead of providing machine power to the network, you are basically given the opportunity to rent virtual machine power. Want access to machines directly? We're going to be offering the ability to rent GPUs from the network, SSH and have complete control. Pretty good. So decentralized offerings there. Distributed training for your own models. Again, we want to be able to train our AI models using a decentralized infrastructure, and that's one of the major criticism of applications like ChatGPT, that it's a very centralized structure, centralized application. Only way for training time you use, no hidden costs. Perfect. Google Colab supports to get you started. Use Google Colab to make sure your code runs. So Google Colab is like an IDE, a cloud-based IDE. Then create a training job in your NetMind Power. Pretty good here. So try it now. You can get involved very easily with Google Colab, which is good. Idle GPUs, essentially, if you have any GPU power that's not working for you overnight or during the day, maybe when you're not using it based on your schedule, you can put it to work. And honestly, in that way, you can basically earn some passive income. And I think that's exactly what they're, trying to, entice people to provide that GPU power in order to get those rewards, but ultimately running the network and providing that decentralized infrastructure. Okay, so GPUs coming soon, no code solution for fine-tuning models, barriers to entry for new individuals that are coming in that are not programmers, that are not so tech savvy. This is going to help them build that ecosystem growth. And you guys know that I'm a big proponent on ecosystem growth, because the more the ecosystem grows and the more they offer as far as models, in this case with regards to AI, the more utility the token has. Right, so this is what I like to see, is some focus on ecosystem growth. Choose your extensive library of base models, fine tune to your needs. Simply upload the data set, and we'll handle the rest. Deploy and inference your model in production. Okay, deploy your models in inference, whether trained or fine tuned on our platform. Choose from batch prediction or live endpoint methods. Okay, a lot of good stuff here. We're also working on the ability to publish your models for others to use. This is interesting. So this is a little bit looking forward as to where they're going with things. I can imagine that eventually there'll be some sort of marketplace where, you could put your models to be used by others, and obviously earn some sort of reward for offering your models. Okay, so this is a very typical structure, mind you. Okay, I'm going to be very clear about that. This is not very innovative. This is something that I've seen many times. There's a good handful of AI projects that fit the bill and that are very similar to this type of structure. Okay, basically, enticing individuals to provide their GPU power. The GPU power decentralize the infrastructure via DPIN. Okay, so we understand that. And then from there, you get rewarded. But also, using that decentralized infrastructure, you can create those AI models. And as you create those AI models, you can upload them to some sort of marketplace. And then you get rewarded as well by people using those models. And there's a bit of a cycle here. There's a bit of an ecosystem happening, which is good. Typical within the space, but at least it's well done. Okay, decentralized, good stuff so far. Join the Discord. They do have a Discord, which is good. And that concludes the website. You see, this is the footer. You get a lot of typical information: rent GPUs, the white paper, blog if you're interested there. Oh, DAO, we have the mention of the DAO, which is important, guys, especially if you're built on Ethereum. It's kind of like important that you're a DAO. And guys, this is an EVM project, so that's it's built on Ethereum, and also there's a contract on Binance, so the BNB chain. So this is important as well. And then you have the token and the NetMind chain, and this is all available in the white paper, which we're going to get to in a second. They give you a LinkedIn, so the team is docs. We'll take a look at the team in a second, and you can see a lot of the socials, Discord. And I'm happy that they chose Discord, because personally speaking, I prefer Discord. Now, I don't see any mention of Telegram. Obviously, Telegram is hot. A lot of people like it, but I prefer Discord 100%. The communication amongst your community is a lot better. Okay, so let's move on. That's a personal opinion, by the way. All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at some of this information here on the white paper. Again, powered by Gitbook. I think it's a great way to, have a running document. And introduction is here, was last updated 6 months ago. So slightly outdated, not crazy outdated, but you have to understand here in the tech space, in crypto, 6 months is a long time, especially if they've been cranking out some new innovation and updates and so on based on roadmap. So 6 months is a long time. And also based on where we are in the cycle and the timing of things, 6 months could be a lot. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this introduction in much detail because the website did a great job, but they're breaking down barriers to entry. We introduced NetMind Power, a decentralized computing platform, which we talked about already. The company is based in London. I'm not sure if that's the best place to be based as far as crypto goes, and we soon to be seen if Washington, USA is also a great place to be based in. What else do we have here? Aimed at machine learning professionals, research. We talked about this. NetMind mission is to create a global network computing power. Obviously, that is the basis. Guys, that's the back end of all of this, and which I appreciate, because ultimately, yes, on the top of it, you can run AI. but you can do so much more with a decentralized infrastructure powered by GPUs. Gaming, any other type of processing that needs to be done, right? And ultimately, we know that GPU processing is very lucrative, given the fact that the GPUs have multi-core processing capabilities, and that you can basically synthesize data very easily. And it's not only applicable to AI. In this case, they chose AI again because it's very popular and it could be a hot technology for the next little while. Right, so I understand, but they could easily pivot into gaming and any other industry, tech industry that requires processing, which is why I put so much emphasis on a deep infrastructure for AI. Because ultimately, if you do not have a deep infrastructure and you're using some sort of other, AWS or some sort of processing, centralized computing power, what happens is ultimately you're just a Web 2 project. Okay, so this is my biggest concern in the next little while. So check marks here. I appreciate this. If you want to know more about it, feel free to read all these little details, but there's a lot happening here. The volunteer computing network, I'm going to kind of like skim through all the extra stuff that we may not need here. Proof of work, proof of stake, it's important to understand. Basically, the proof of stake has made a large number of machines obsolete in their original intended use case. So they plan on bringing back that use case in their own way, and we'll talk about that in a second, because they have their own infrastructure, their own consensus mechanism that's unique, and which is fine. Training of the platform, I'm going to just kind of skim through a little bit of this. Key features, technical details of the training. You could see that basically this gives you an idea of how things work with regards to training the models. I'm not going to get into that much detail here because, of course, we're focusing on the crypto. We're focusing on the technical side of the cryptocurrency as a token itself, rather than so much in the tech side of things. But this is just to give you an idea about the architecture itself behind the GPUs and the training and the workload across all the training nodes and all of that. So basically good stuff if you're interested in the tech itself. Inference platform. Again, key features and technical details of the inference platform. Model deployment. Users can deploy their trained AI models on the inference platform, making them accessible to other users. This is this marketplace that definitely has a use case here, because when you have the ability to share your projects, it may be a marketplace for the future. But nonetheless, what it does is it increases the overall ecosystem, the utility of the ecosystem, right? So because we're sharing resources, and once you start sharing resources, there's a lot more to be used and obviously a lot more to be transacted. So really good. I like this inference platform. I'm curious as to why they call it the inference platform. It definitely is a tad confusing, but it's all good from a marketing play. Choice of words is important, but models creates and others and open source off the shelf models. Okay, you feel free to read this. This is not, let's say, unique in the sense, because we've seen many other AI projects do the same thing, and enticing individuals to create their own models and make them available for the general public. That's basically what it is. Okay, let's move on. General features. What else do we got here? The incentive mechanisms of, again, participants who contribute their GPUs resources to the network get rewarded with NetMind tokens. So this is where you can earn that passive income when your GPU is not being used for personal use. You can provide it to the general public and earn that passive income from your devices. Interoperability. So we can see that we have a multi-framework, multitasking framework, and this is your NetMind platform. So interoperability is important, and MindPower utilizes APIs so that it can be used across many popular machines and libraries and frameworks. So this is important because an API essentially is a back end or an entry to the actual system that you got going on. And because they have APIs, any other external system can enter the NetMind system itself through the API and be able to work interoperability. So that's really good. Environmental and sustainable. Guys, again, if you want to know a little bit more of that, they're saying that they're eco-friendly solution in the AI space. space, resources across wide network of users, and all of that. Okay, feel free to read this again. So good stuff, very general. I'm going through this very quickly because I feel like this is enough. This is all we really need. They're definitely giving us the detail quickly. NetMind chain, what else do we got here? This is where things get crypto, let's put it this way. Using the blockchain NetMind chain enables decentralization of all tasks. Okay, this is important because this is where we start to stem into Web3. Everything else that we talked about right now is the tech itself, meaning what does NetMind offer as far as technology? Now, where do we crypto this? Without this clear differentiation, what happens is we stay in Web 2 very easily. Now we're transitioning into clear Web 3 application because now we're talking about the blockchain. So this is where I'm going to slow down and potentially find some details here that we may need. Why does NetMind need a token? Let's put it that way. So they clearly say that it's decentralized all the tasks, transactions, and functions that occur on the platform. To be clear, the trading process happens locally on the machines being used for training. Of course, we know that. All the GPUs that are, basically decentralized, and then obviously, that processing trains the models. The operation of the blockchain will be facilitated by usage of utility token, again, NetMind token, and NMT, which we'll talk about soon in the next sections. So you have a few things here: mine nodes, master nodes, and staking. So there's 3 levels. Let's see, NetMind nodes, NetMind chain protocol. So they go on to say the nodes and the mined nodes validate transactions, therefore build the blockchain. So you get rewarded for that. Each mine node is rewarded with a gas fee. Users can choose to stake NMT against mine nodes in order to receive staking rewards. The 21 mine nodes with the most NMT staked against them become master nodes. So if you want to graduate your mine nodes to become a master node, you basically need to stake up a little bit more. So that's how it works. Master nodes receive an extra reward based on their authority they have gained. And this is, again, the part of the consensus mechanism, right? It's not a completely proof of stake here. They collectively receive 10% of the total daily staking rewards. That 10% is distributed equally between the top 21 master nodes. The remaining 90% of the staking rewards is distributed amongst users who stake on the top 21 master nodes and provide liquidity to official trading pairs, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is it. This is where, if you're interested in becoming part of this whole scenario, as far as staking and, staking up tokens and becoming a node provider and all of that, this is how you're going to get rewarded. Okay, very typical. I like the fact that they got different levels if you want to become more involved, and I like the fact that it's clear. I've seen structures that are so confusing, and obviously that's a barrier to entry. But here, this is clear. You just stake. The more you stake, the more you get rewarded. The more you get rewarded, basically, you have the options to become more involved. Okay, so this is important. The protocol. So this is where we talk about the consensus. So basically, NetMind chain is a public blockchain based on Ethereum protocol, which adopts the proof of authority consensus algorithm. So it's not a proof of stake, although it sounds like it because you can stake up tokens to a node. But compared with proof of work and proof of basically comparative proof of work, proof of authority, basically. It rewards individuals that maintain proper performance on the network, right? So if they're doing a good job providing performance to the network, that they have more authority than just staking up, right? You can stake up and provide very little quality or performance to the network and still not basically be rewarded as much as an individual that is performing well and providing reliability to the network. In essence, what we're trying to do is reward individuals that provide quality, which is a lot better if you think about it, right? So proof of stake and proof, let's see, delegated proof of stake, consensus algorithm, the more tokens you own. So in a typical scenario with proof of stakes, the more tokens you own, the more likely that you'll become more rewarded and so on. Proof of authority, however, the validators responsible for processing transaction and validating blocks must go through serious reviews and must ensure their own reliability. So if they're reliable, you get rewarded, essentially. Okay, so interesting, good stuff, because of course in a deep in infrastructure, what's more important, having liquidity staked, or quality performance and reliability. I think the latter. Okay, so think about that. Reward calculations, again, if you want to get into a little bit more detail there and how that's all calculated and all this via smart contract and the task schedule, this is all here. Let's move on. The NetMind token. So what is it? What's going on? This is a little bit confusing. And this is where I'm going to say, the team should kind of clean this up. And I understand what their perspective here is. So their perspective is to introduce history, because there has been a bit of a change in the last little while with regards to tokenomics, for the better, in my opinion, but that's not the point. The point is that why provide both informations in one page? What I would do is have the new information here and also have a link to maybe this type of or comparative type of scenario in comparing the past to the present in a different place, because it's very hard to track, especially for individuals that don't understand what's really going on here. It's hard to track. For example, allocation plan. In this section, we qualify the allocation plan for the percentages and amounts. See, the old version of the tokenomics, again, 34 million tokens, was allocated to circulation in the first year, and then they give you a date starting April 16th. There will be issued over 10 years under the new tokenomic framework. So after April 16th to 2024, there will be a new type of schedule, a new type of emissions, a new type of everything, where the reality is things start to get confusing, because as you go through the various categories, you have to keep track of the past and the present, which really, who cares about the past? Right? If you do care about the past, yes, you could provide that information, in my opinion, in a separate way and a separate type of thing. Let's go forward. Let's move forward, because the tokenomics of the current is still great. So again, they have the unlocks, they have the vesting schedule, they got everything going here to tell you exactly what you need. And it's going to be very hard for me to tell you exactly what's going on here, because there's a lot of detail. You can see 55% of the new issuance, 2% of new total supply is allocated to the mining rewards. You can see how things get confusing really quickly. 62.5 million NMT. So this is where it's going to go to mining rewards. That's good. Good amount of tokens going towards the general public as they get rewarded. Okay. 16.5 million NMT go to, again, staking rewards for those who are participating in staking and providing liquidity. Good stuff there. You can see the first 2 years, what's going on here. You can see for the next 2 years, every 2 years, more tokens get emitted, but they go down in the amount as time passes, which means that it is technically anti-inflationary. Okay, so we have to understand that the amount of tokens that get distributed over the years reduces over time, which is good. Scarcity is good. You want supply to go down over time, so the price essentially goes up. Okay, so this is what we got. Plus, you risk basically don't risk the dilution of so many tokens entering the market as a infinite supply would have. In this case, it's not an infinite supply, and we're seeing that the amount of emissions decreases over time. Again, 16.5 million, and we're going to talk about a graph. I'm going to show you a graph in a second, which they do. There could be a little bit more detailed visuals here. You can see maybe some sort of histogram chart of some sort showing the amount of emissions, or a line chart showing the emissions over time and so on, but they don't offer that. Unfortunately, it would be easy to really comprehend some of these details, but you can see 16.5 million go towards the ecosystem growth fund. Again, something that I really do appreciate. Help the ecosystem grow. It's a better investment to help the ecosystem grow than to invest in coals, in my opinion. The reason why is because in the ecosystem growth, you go basically invest in small companies that want to build on your blockchain, but you also get their social network, right? With coals, all you really get is their social network. Plus, if the coal does something wrong, you get all the negativity. And we've been seeing a lot of that in the last little while. So I appreciate the effort and the focus on ecosystem growth, no doubt. What else do we have here? 7.5 million going to, where are we? Strategic partners and relationships. This is where I'm a little bit on the fence, because you shouldn't have to buy your friends. That's what I think about it. You should have some sort of collaboration that you both kind of have stake, behind, basically work together somehow. If it's about capital, that means you're basically buying your friends. I'm not crazy about it, but you can see there's something that bothers me, is that a lot of this one right here, which is the early stakeholders, for the first half of the year, they start getting tokens. So they're already getting tokens at the early relationships, and the strategic partners are getting tokens a bit earlier than the rest, which means that we run a bit of dilution. Now, it's not a lot of tokens, and I'm going to show you that in a second. It's not a lot, but again, that's the case. And the team, again, for the first half year, they start to get paid right away, pretty early, which is, again, not a lot of tokens. I think it equates to about 15% maximum, something like that. We'll get into a little bit more of that in a second, okay? So you can see this is the total supply. Right, that's all we're getting, 147.57 million, which is okay. And if we can make this bigger, you can see that mining majority goes to mining. You got 39% to mining. Early GPU contributors, okay, so we're giving them a little bit of a benefit for getting in early. Again, we have to understand that those people got in at a good price, got great treatment, and again, there's a bit of a risk of dilution there. 3.3% only, but it's not a big deal. Staking 11%. Okay, good. You get rewarded for providing liquidity. We need that liquidity. Ecosystem growth. Again, you know what I feel about that. That's a great investment as far as business goes. Strategic investors and advisors, it's only 5%, and the team is only 6.8%. So even if you amalgamate these, it's about 11-12%. Not a big deal, right? But we have to understand that they're getting their tokens a little bit earlier than the rest. Now, is the team going to sell on the market? Look, again, we don't know, and I'm not going to try to spread FUD here, but I do know this. If this is going to be where we see altcoins run in this market for the next little while, I don't think the team will be selling right now. They'll probably be selling as we see the market very frothy. And when the market gets frothy, make sure that you take some profit regardless of the project. Doesn't matter if it's NetMind, doesn't matter what make sure you DCA out. That's what I would do. Anyway, you could see that strategic investors and advisors are here, and they hold a small portion, but they get their tokens a bit earlier based on the vesting schedule. And I would have liked to see the vesting schedule in some sort of bar, a line chart or histogram bar. Okay, chart. Token issued. These were the tokens that were issued before. Okay, so now these are in circulation, and yeah, they're basically in circulation, so that's good out there. 23%. Minimize. Now you can see that these are the new tokens that are going to be entering. So this includes the previous tokens before April 16th. This doesn't include those. This just includes the new tokens, right? And you can see a lot of them go to mining, guys. This is so much better. I get it. We want distributed power. We want distributed, let me correct myself there, distributed, a decentralized holding of all the tokens. We don't want them very centralized, and you can see that this is much better and rewarding properly, for stakers and ecosystem. And again, the strategic investors in the team hold a very small portion. Now, if you look at this, it does look a little bit more, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still very small. Okay, and you can look at their tokenomics, their schedule, their cliffs. Everything is here nicely laid out, transparent. Again, I would just like a little bit better visuals, but all good. And then we have the emissions right here, which is not bad. This is what I was talking about. Nice histogram bar, but it's still a little bit off a little bit. I feel like it's hard to read and understand, but all good. You can see that over time, the emissions does come down a bit over time. We see that it totally until we reach about 10 years, the amount of tokens that get released decrease significantly. And right into here, early GPU contributors, they get their tokens unlocked right around here, and it's over with. And then you have the green, which is the strategic investors. They get them early, as I mentioned. Early, we got to be careful here. Year 1, year 2. This is the sell pressure, right, that we're going to be getting, and this is important to understand. And the team gets in early as well, and slowly emitted over time. The biggest issue here is the strategic investors and advisors. Why? Because this could be directly related to coals, and this is what's one of the issues that we're seeing new projects deal with lately, is getting involved with coals, and they just dump on the market, right? Giving bad name, bad reputation. Again, guys, do your due diligence. This is definitely something to worry about as far as the amount of tokens they hold, but it's not a lot. Okay, just keep in mind. Now, we also have to keep in mind how many tokens are in circulation, and we'll talk about that in a bit, like circulating supply and all that. Because if a lot of them are out there, and even if the coals get paid and they want to take a bit of profit, you have to understand, coals are advertisers. we got to really be clear about this. Calls are advertised. How else is NetMind going to get the word out there? They got to pay for advertising space on call for calls to do it. Now, what they have to do is do their due diligence and choose the correct calls that are not, that don't have bad reputations on dumping on their communities and so on. Because a community that gets salty is not a good community for any crypto project. Okay, so let's move on. Reward types, mining rewards. We talked about this, the miner emissions, the math behind it. Computational power, usage fees. So a lot of good transparency here. There's no ambiguity. Everything's good. Master nodes and elections, cross-chain bridge. This is good because, of course, as we go from Binance to Ethereum, we want that, bridge to be able to go back and forth. And any EVM compatible chains for the future can definitely benefit from a bridge. And we can see this kind of move on to maybe even layer 2s and so on very easily. Okay, so let's just keep all of this in mind. User types. Again, we talked about this a little bit. There's obviously the people that are going to be using the AI models and creating the AI models. So who's going to use them? Machine learning practitioners, researchers, developers, and the supply side volunteer computing resource providers, NetMind chain and Mind. Okay. Perfect stuff here, guys. You can feel free to read this, of course, get details, as much details as you need. And this is the future direction. Unfortunately, this is not would have been considered a roadmap. And I couldn't find a proper roadmap, guys. So they did mention that they're going to be releasing one soon, but they don't have one. So that's not a good look. This is not enough. This is very general. This is a year old, could be even more, because it doesn't look like it gives you, years and months. Who knows how old, a year or more. And in this case, this is not enough. I don't know. This is very general, fluffy talk. And I want details, and I'm sure you do too, because at the end of the day, we want to know where that capital is being allocated. Where are we going with things? Now, I know it's backed by a DAO, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But ultimately, where are we going with things? Where's the DAO even going with things? What proposals have been made? Where's the team going with things? We want to know a little bit more. Okay, so that's that. Now, speaking of DAO, guys, this is the DAO. If you want to know more, basically, it's a community, and you can see that is the governance body managing and developing of the NetMind project. This is obviously a decentralized autonomous organization. It's a healthy way to create crypto projects, because they're not securities in this case, right? They're governed by shareholders, right? So this is very important. Why was the DAO created? Adhere to decentralized principles. Exactly why I always say, where's the DAO? Especially when we're talking, and to be honest, it's not like the team, the amount of the capital is basically not centralized either. And we're going to talk about that when we look at the tokenomics, the wallet allocation, because ultimately I know that a lot of companies, especially when they're raising their own capital, they don't want to put it behind the DAO because they want to make the decision behind their own capital that they provided for the project. But that's unfortunate, because then you're security, whereas this way you're decentralized it to the point that you bring in a community, you allow the community to get involved, you get people personally committed, and in addition to that, you're in a regulatory framework that is decentralized, which is good. So again, feel free to go check it out. The DAO treasury holds approximately 11.2% of the supply, which means that if you have any ideas of where that capital could be distributed or spent, that you can make those proposals and all that stuff that makes DAOs amazing. Okay, let's move on. Good stuff there. Now we have a few more details. If we went back to the website, we talked about a couple of things here. We talked about the DAO, that was good. We talked about this. Now, from a social perspective, let's jump right into the team. Okay, let's see what this is. The team. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's take a look at the wallet holders, because we're in topic of tokenomics. You can see that liquidity-wise, Uniswap holds a lot of liquidity, 26% of it, which is good, okay? This is good because it's decentralized in that case. So they have enough liquidity to allow transactions to happen, but we know the gas fees on Uniswap, guys. So this is one of the bigger issues that a lot of people are looking for, centralized exchanges, because we don't have to worry about those gas fees. So I think if NetMind is going to do well, especially in the peak of the run where we see a lot of congestion, and they definitely need to find an alternative here, or find a way to make transactions a lot easier. But nonetheless, the liquidity is there and the wallets are nicely distributed. There's no major wallets holding a massive amount of the supply. Uniswap, it's a contract for Uniswap for liquidity. That's it. So no real red flags here whatsoever. Good stuff. Let's see what else I got here for you guys. The team. Let's talk about the team here for a second. Let me just quickly move this tab over. There we go. So the team, they got some goals and values of the teams, their values. Again, you can read this, the goals, true AGI, affordable AI ecosystem. Again, I love the emphasis on ecosystem. And then the team. Okay, so the team, is the founder, CEO of NetMind, has established notable presence in the AI community. Good stuff. Masters in Mathematics, Statistics, Georgetown University. Okay, is also helms Protocol Labs and nonprofit AGI Odyssey. Okay, good stuff. A lot of good academic papers. He's definitely, an academic. Plain and simple. Also an angel investor, nurturing and passion for AGI, AI startups, including Aper, Auto Edge, okay, and some others. So you can check them out on LinkedIn, which we're going to do in a second. And you can see as we scroll through these, can we scroll? Yeah, I think I did. How did I? Oh, you just click. There we go. You start clicking, you can see different individuals from different walks of life, IT, fintech, commercial real estate, different engineering, University of Tennessee, finance, MBA, University of Maryland. We keep on going. You can see a lot of intellectual individuals, Web3 skilled practitioner, blockchain tech, CTO is definitely stacked. Lots of good information here. You can see Dolly has contributed notable projects into GitHub, okay, NetMind previously in principal research of Microsoft. Guys, heavyweights everywhere. Let's go on this side. Did we go this way? Joshua, Granted University, master's degree in marketing. Okay, we're going to talk about the marketing because the marketing right now, I think, has the biggest issue. Okay, so Josh, I'm sorry, buddy, but we're going to have to be critical right now because the community right now is not happy. I went on the socials, went on the Discord, and the community is definitely not happy about the marketing efforts. The price looks pretty bad, right? And of course, it could help to have a solid marketing team. Now, what is their efforts? What are they doing? I see them on X. They have a good amount of posts in the last little while, lots of good engagement. They're doing their best. They're doing their thing. But community, as far as building community, I think there needs to be a little bit more here. Now, I don't know if they're based in China because some of them have Chinese heritage and linkages. I don't know if they're actually based in America. I know that they're based in the UK. They mentioned that the project's based in the UK, but I think what needs to happen is it needs to have a more of a westernized marketing strategy, and I don't see that really happening on the Discord. There's not much talk. There are individuals there, part of the team or the social team on the thing. The moderators in there are definitely there, but I don't know. There's a lot of FUD right now being built slow and steadily about the marketing. And this is all I'm doing is reporting. Now, what I would say here is there needs to be damage control quick before it spreads like wildfire. Okay, so Joshua, you got to get going here because if you're the marketing professional here, which it seems like to be the case, something needs to happen quick because there's a lot of individuals quite salty about price and, of course, marketing efforts. And now we have here someone PhD in medical science. I don't know how this applies. Production lead. How does this even apply to crypto? I don't know if that's a good look. I don't know why she would be part of the team. I don't know what value she brings. Again, if there is value, this should be listed here. I don't see it. Health and wellness is not part of the overall value proposition of this project anyway. And then AI manager of biotech and some other bachelor degree in mathematics, physics, more intellectual individuals. Okay, so lots of good stuff here. Now, I did go on their LinkedIn pages to know a little bit more. London, England, that's where it seems to be based, okay, which is good, and maybe not good because, England hasn't been really crypto friendly in the last little while. But you can see that he's been in the crypto space for a while. Founder of Odyssey, AI as well, research specialist. So a lot of good experience here. And it seems like he's also involved in other projects. So you can see that he's presently involved in founder of these two Protocol Labs and AGI Odyssey. So that could be a bit of an issue given the fact that we know that there's not where he's putting his effort. Is he spread across too many projects? Is he spread too thin here? I don't know, but that's something to criticize, I guess, or to keep in mind. And then you go on to this dude right here, Web3 blockchain, no image. Okay, we don't need an image. You can see lots of good history here. Full-time, and lots of good employment. Ultimately, now presently employed at NetMind's AI. Great stuff. But senior engineer at Coinbase, Microsoft, and MicroStrategies. Crazy resume here. So good stuff. And then we have this dude. In my opinion, I think he's not. I was stumbling upon some of the team members, and I felt Ronald looks like an absolute legend here with regards to crypto. He's young. He looks like he's definitely getting involved in the crypto space. Business development manager, head of ecosystem Fuse. My role is pivotal in fostering growth and development in vibrant blockchain communities. This is what we need. I think the marketing and that whole thing about community building, I think he could definitely bring some value here. And he's full-time, but that's the thing. Full-time also cultivating strategic partnerships with lead DeFi projects, so bringing in more value. Could he bring some more value? I like these. Intellect is amazing, but also, young, hustlers getting into the space. It obviously brings me, get me a bit interested. So good stuff here, as far as team goes. So, back to what I said about the team and the marketing, it's obviously a big issue when the community is not very happy with their marketing and the way they're being projected into the market, into the space, because they want to infuse more capital. And the only way you're really going to infuse capital is to get the retail investor involved. Okay, so this is what we got to keep in mind. All right, guys, as you guys know, I do publish a infographic, and I'm going to release this all over the socials once this deep dive gets posted. NetMind, a decent project, of course, good stuff. Let's look into some of the details here. Ecosystem, AI platform, staking, and there's a DAO. So I think there could be a little bit more, but they do realize that they could, and they are investing in their ecosystem growth. So there is, they are identifying that there's a possibility for growth, and this is why we are expecting higher numbers eventually. Utility for the token, great, lots of good stuff there. It's, you know what I mean? Like, we bring in a token and we totally infuse it into the project from the back end to the front end, and the token utility is what I look for. Not you're going to just slap a token on top of a Web2 project. So 10 out of 10, this is great. Roadmap, unfortunately, there's no updated roadmap. Has announced a roadmap release coming soon, but nothing there yet. So guys, that's a bit of an issue. They got to be ready, guys. The main event is here. When else are you going to be ready? Strong team, lots of tech experience, Web3 and development. Marketing needs to be more active. Now, I don't know if it's a team thing. I don't know what's going on there, but we got to make sure that the team starts to realize that people are complaining. And again, back to the socials. They got a good amount of followers on X. They're up 333% with regards to followers in the last 30 days. So there's a bit of inflow happening. 58 X posts in the last 30 days, so approximately 2 per day, up 11.5%. So they're aggressively going there. But still, is it quality? Is it actually attracting? Or are we just waiting for some of this engagement to take effect? I think a bit more community engagement on the Discord could be very useful. Okay, very useful. Although there's a lot of effort from the member there. I don't know exactly his role, but he's definitely high up there, so that's good. Tokenomics, 9 out of 10. Clear vesting schedule, 11% will be distributed to early stakeholders earlier on in the release. So this is something that we have to keep in mind. As I mentioned, it's deflationary and emission, but like I said, the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant here is because the tokens for the team and the strategic investors get unlocked really early in the scheme of things. Okay, so just be cognizant of those small amount of tokens. Again, there's a small amount to get released, okay, and get basically sold on the market. Relationships, pretty decent one, guys, pretty decent ones. I wish there was more formal communication about this on their website, and this is one of the things that I'm going to criticize heavily, because if you are basically getting involved with io.net, which is another AI machine learning project, it would be great for that to be all over the website. I've seen websites post all kinds of links, all kinds of logos of various companies that don't have strategic partnerships, but they actually do, and they don't put the logo. That's kind of weird. So I would say marketing from that perspective, get it on the website. They do have a post on X and all of that, which is good, but they need to make some more noise about it, because that's pretty good for a small project. For two small projects, coming together is very healthy. TGO invest $2 million. So they invested in TGO, invested $2 million in AI-powered human-machine interface. So they're getting involved here. 01 Labs, advanced AI through decentralized efforts. So they're basically involved getting those relationships going here. IONET, TGO, and 01 Labs, two of which are very popular and well known, but all three of them are very strategic. So really good. I still feel like a little bit more could happen here, and that's why I'm leaving it, giving them a bit of room for further integrations with other relationships, because a bit more could happen here. Exchanges: BitGet, Bitmart, PancakeSwap, CoinX, and Gate. So a few good mid tiers, a couple good mid tiers, a lot of low, a few DEXs. Uniswap has to hold a majority of the liquidity. What we're waiting for is major exchanges. We want Coinbase, we want Binance, and that kind of stuff. So maybe we get there soon, given the fact that it is a Binance listed on Binance Smart Chain. So far I'm giving it a 5 out of 10, because it's also an opportunity to see this thing get listed on a major exchange like Binance, which will definitely get the price going volume wise. Now, with regards to tokenomics, again, I'm just going to make it very clear that the market cap, the supply is 27.7% of the circulating supply is currently out there. Okay, so we got of the total supply, 27%. Okay, there's more tokens that need to be released. This is why it's very important that you monitor and you study that emission schedule. Okay, because we have to understand that tokens will get unlocked, okay, every few months, and that's what happens, right? We'll see tokens entering the space, and that way we hope not to see too much dilution. Now, as long as demand outperforms supply in an altcoin season bull run, guys, it doesn't matter. Unlocks get eaten up so quick, and the price keeps on going. But during that time, keep account that there's people in some massive gains that will definitely dump on the market as soon as they see any sign of risk. Okay, so keep it in mind, only 28% of the supply is in circulation. And in this case, we need to be very clear. There's a decent amount of trading volume, guys, almost 5% of trading volume at the current moment, which is pretty good. I like to see about 10, but 5 is not bad considering its market cap. Okay, so it's only a $77 million market cap, small market cap here, guys. Price is at about $1.80 today. When I did the infographic, it was at $1.90. We're getting a bit of fluctuation here in the next little while, but all good. NMT is the ticker. All right, guys, final verdict, just quick. Honestly, there's not much to say here other than early clips on phase 1 of the team of strategic investors and emissions. Be careful. Like I mentioned, the team and strategic investors are getting their tokens a bit earlier than the rest. Discord is somewhat active. I appreciate that. We got some individuals answering questions and all of that, but I think a little bit more hype would be great. FUD is spreading due to poor price action, and they're blaming marketing efforts. So community is disappointed with the marketing efforts. This is something that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. I've seen great projects basically get fudded into the oblivion because of price action, which we know is not a good indication of value, right? Because at the end of the day, marketing, sometimes packaging, unfortunately, does much more than to the price. And this is why we see pumps on projects that don't have great fundamentals. This project actually has great fundamentals, but maybe their marketing is lacking. Guys, of course, judge it on your own. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about their marketing efforts, and what should they be doing to actually improve their marketing? Okay, guys, so my target is this. Again, it's a projection. Okay, let's be clear about this. It's a projection. If the market brings in the correct amount of capital, so we see the total market cap of the entire crypto space fly above 3 trillion, maybe hit 5, maybe hit 6, who knows how high we go, I can easily see projects like NMT reach around $15. And if you compare it to AIOZ, which is very similar project, not exact, within the same narrative and same, deep pin type of structure, we could easily get to about $12 and again, about 6x. So I'm saying, why not hit a nice round number of $15? Just keep an eye on it, because really, this is not I'm not a visionary. I can't go and start looking into my crystal ball to tell you the future. But if everything goes to plan with the crypto space, there's no reason why I can't see that NMT can attract some of that capital from the retail investor that is going to be coming in and ultimately pump the price to about $15. This is why it is so important that the teams prepare all documentation, website, white papers, everything for the retail investor. They are the ones that ultimately at the end are going to pump prices like crazy because they're entering with a lot of liquidity. All right, guys, if I offer you any value, give me a huge thumbs up, but I'm definitely going to take a look at some of the price. Let's do that. Let's take a look at price action first, because I know you want to talk about price as well. Price action at the end of the day, not the greatest. Let's be real. Let's be real. Not the greatest. Reaching previous lows. And I can see why the market in general right now is very fearful of the price falling to much lower levels. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Obviously, FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. When the price action is hitting critical levels like this, you tend to get emotional. And this is definitely an emotional levels. Levels of which I appreciate the most, because that's where you can usually find the best trade setups. Let's begin looking at what we can plot out here. Clear line of support, clear line of invalidation. We know that if we fall below $1.77, things look bad, look very hectic. Okay, I'm going to put in another horizontal right into here just to identify the importance of this level. Okay, and the reason why I like this level is because if you look at the volume profile, once we break above this level, there's very little volume. There's not much happening, even though we do have psychological levels like tops and these tops and the tops of the wicks and the blow off top, all of that. They're very psychological levels. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But volume wise, there's very little market participation, which means that the price can easily start flying to the upside and making a higher high after that, right? So just keep that in mind. I also noticed that if we look at the volume, okay, I'm going to get a few diagonals in. Horizontals are much more important to me as a trader, so just keep that in mind. Volume is definitely coming down, okay, as the price is kind of going sideways. Okay, so we're waiting for an expansion any moment now, right? Because as we see volume contract, eventually we should see some sort of move to the upside. I'm going to put this in here very loosely. I think the 4-hour might be a little bit better to kind of like identify that. Okay, that's that. So we got a lot of volume here. That's one thing that, okay, let me get rid of this because it's not sticking to the histogram bars, but you can see the volume's coming down. Now, you can see that there's volume here. A lot of market participation in this general area. We're at the bottom of the range, touching previous lows. If we fall below, there's a bit of an issue. We didn't break any trend to the upside. We're still dipping, still falling. If we get a pivot point structure right into this level right here, where we are at the current moment, is the best place to take risk. So this is where now it's like time to start shopping or start to look for setups. Let me see what momentum is up to. Momentum is still dripping, guys. So you see this purple line all the way up here where momentum, volatility, we're both overbought. You can see that it's coming down very, very slowly. Should we wait to get it below the 30% mark? When we see momentum, volatility, get into oversold state, that's the best time. Momentum right now is not there yet. It hasn't gotten here. So does it have to get here now? No, it doesn't have to. Could get another bounce even right now because it didn't get oversold here, right? But it got severely overbought here. We do see a red expansion to the downside, really red expansion. Does it mean that we're going to start, maybe contracting a little bit soon and getting back up and maybe getting a green histogram bar down here, expansion where we can see some bullish price action? Just keep in mind, every time we see the volatility down here, we usually get some green move to the upside, and we are currently there as well. My only concern is the momentum. Do we get oversold? Okay, so let's go back to the price action and make those comparisons. You can see here, if you got into this level, nice pop to the upside. Right here, okay, we didn't really pop up. We didn't get overbought either, but you can see that ultimately gave you a positive. You could have stopped yourself out even on a break even or whatever the case may be, and then we come down for another lower low. So here we are. Where we are currently is where do we take risk again? Right? Is this the time? Now, if I start looking at trend oscillator, you can see the trend looks bad. The oscillator looks bad. EMAs are facing down still, very clearly. Blue expansion, red histogram bars. Everything about this is currently looking bad. It is a lagging indicator, I am aware, but it does look bad at the current moment. Okay, so we got to be patient. I am interested in what the lower time frame looks like, the 4-hour. Let's get rid of some of this artwork here so we can be clear on the 4-hour. You can see that the 4-hour did get oversold. You can see that as it did here, but as it did there, after that little pop, it came down for a lower low. Now, is it diverging? That is the question here. You can see that if you look at this low, let me get this trend line, this low and this low, connect them, and you start look at this low, which is the low that corresponds with that low up there on the price action, and you look at where we are right now, you can see it's slightly higher. It could get invalidated. We can come down for another low and see that momentum get oversold even more. Again, on the daily also, because now I'm on the 4-hour, getting it extremely oversold is what I'm concerned about. Is it going to get there? But ultimately, we would like to see the 4-hour get overbought, the volatility get overbought, right? Reach up here, and then let's see what the bears got in them. If the bears push down one more time and see the volatility come down and the purple line gets oversold further, it's likely that we see it on the daily translate into this coming down further, which is the purple line coming down to oversold, and that's the best time. So what I'm most concerned about is this. Again, so we got some information from our oscillators, which is great. Let me clean up this artwork so we can make more sense of it when we need to. Okay, so the reality is price action is king. Okay, and I understand right now this looks enticing, but the way things are looking on momentum and even trend oscillator, it looks like we could come down a little bit more. But if we do not, it's because we do have support here. And if we do end up having support, what's going to happen is that momentum and trend eventually will fall or go sideways or roll over while price action battles this area. And when it's in the battle phase, transitionary phase from bearish to bullish, we start to build the structures that we need to get bullish. So that also includes a swing failure pattern that usually translates into an inverse cup and handle. Let me show you what I mean. An inverse head and shoulder. So let me show you what I mean. So if we do kind of, structure out here, let's say we go up, we get rejected, come down, swing failure, get people wrecked, that puts stop losses here, get back in the structure. And as we get back in, you might want to get in, right, and buy some. And then as we go up, maybe get rejected again, confirm it as a back test right into this level, and then spring to the upside, right? This level from here to here is the best place to take risk. Now, right now is not bad because you can see it's at the same time, right? Pretty much all at the same level, but you may have to endure a liquidity hunt, a stop hunt, because many individuals will be putting stop losses here. Now, I don't know if there's margin available to this, but even on spot, there's people that are going to get basically exposed on spot that will put triggered stop losses and so on, and may even capitulate and sell on losses because they get into too much of a bag. And that's one of the issues of breaking these bottoms. But guess what, guys? If we get all those guys liquidated, those are the best prices to get involved, and then ultimately breaking back into the structure, back testing the structure in the previous lows, and springing off of it is the best indication of a nice continuation to the upside. So guess what I'm going to say, guys? This area is time to play the game. Now, if you're a trader, this is where you want to start playing the game. Now, obviously, you should have your strategies. I'm laying it out for you right now, what to be prepared for. How are you going to prepare yourself? You could DCA, buy a little bit here, buy a little bit down here, buy a little bit here, buy a little bit here, build your position. If it does fall much lower, where are you going to put your stop loss? If it does do this, let me get rid of some of this artwork. What about if we get rejected right here? Guys, this is your time to exit. You take a little bit of a loss and you walk away, because this would be bearish AF. This would be so bearish, getting rejected at the previous highs, confirming resistance and coming down for another lower low and getting into dip discovery. Not something that we're really interested in, right? So this is the time to play the game. For most of the retail market, this is where they're fearful. But for those of us that are strategic in our trading, this is the time to play the game. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this deep dive video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to contribute to the next deep dive, meaning if you want to vote on the next project that I cover, join the Discord. The Discord is absolutely free, and you can place your votes. You can place requests on any projects that you're interested in. And of course, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord. It's absolutely free. And of course, I'm going to be live at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.